Cash. Let's go live. Yo, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope everyone enjoyed their 4th of July. Betting wise, I lost some money yesterday, but I'm not too mad about it. I mean, some of those games, like my two big bets that I lost were the White Sox and the Brewers. Brewers lost in the 11th inning when they got gunned down at home plate in the 10th and 11th. I mean, you can't be too mad at a loss like that. I mean, it came down to the end. And then White Sox, Vlad Jr., who's quickly becoming my most hated player. By the way, I can't stand this dude. And it's not just because he beat me in a bet a couple times either. He had a nice opposite field 2-run homer to take the lead in the 8th. Fun day of baseball. As you can see, Jay is with us. I'm sure you all already know who this is, but in case you don't, his Twitter is right below him. You can find him on the Pick Dogs channel. Give him a follow on Twitter. All his stuff is up there. We got a lot to get through, so let's hop right in. Oh, whoops. Everything's set up for 2 people. All right. A's at Tigers. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this one in case these guys have a bet they like, because I don't love it. But I'm going to put Detroit first 5 minus a half run on the screen. That would be my favorite bet. It is typed into on this ticket right now, but the reason I didn't post the ticket yet is I'm trying to narrow it down. I have too many bets on there right now, so let me scroll.
What's the odds?
It was minus 118 or so. I type up the ticket and then I do the line shopping at the end. So I actually didn't do that part yet. So I do have some graphics that I could put up. As you can see, here's, in case you haven't heard, Erod was dominating before he got hurt. Look at all of these starts. Here's his last 10 starts. Look at all these starts with a FIP all the way down at 2 or lower. I mean, this is crazy. Now, normally I wouldn't like to trust the guy coming back from injury, but he looked great in his rehab start, and it's the Oakland Athletics. In case you haven't heard, they're not very good at baseball. Here are their numbers against lefties in the last 14 days. As you can see, towards the bottom of baseball and most metrics against lefties. Here are the last 3 lefty starters to face Oakland, and we just saw a guy come back from injury just yesterday and throw 4 perfect innings. Kikuchi threw 7 innings, 1 run. Logan Allen, 4 innings, no runs. I don't trust Oakland to get to Erod, even if he is coming back from injury. So that's my bet. I don't want to. It's just a lean for me, so I don't want to take up too much time.
Yeah, I had in my notes like a Tigers Twins moneyline parlay, but it wasn't even plus money. So that was like one way I'd look at it. I don't know. I just Oakland has a quick glance. Some might see like Erod, his last 2 times he faced Oakland, not on the road. They kind of got to him, but none of these guys on this Oakland roster have really seen him, but like 4 guys. So it's really hard for me to do and then trust the Tigers. Really, I mean, Oakland's been kind of scrappy. I mean, I'm not trying to make a case that I like Oakland because I don't, but I'm just saying that I don't know if I'm ready to lay with the Tigers with Erod's opening start. I understand that they looked well yesterday, but still a pretty big price to pay. So I'd play that parlay or pass.
It sounds like it's kind of a pass for both of us, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can make that 3 of us, because if I were looking at this game, it would have to be the Tigers, obviously, but I'm not rushing a run and a half with Detroit. They're not that quality a team in my book. Now, do I think they get the win? Yeah. Laying at 235, like Kyle said. Rodriguez did look okay in the minors, and the A's, they're the A's, arguably one of the worst teams we've ever seen in Major League Baseball. I don't want to try to back them today either. So Tigers run line or pass.
Yeah.
Also, just one other thing about Oakland, they used their closer yesterday. So, I mean, Tigers just saw 20 pitches of him too. So it's just one other reason not to really like Oakland.
Yeah. And someone asked, how long's Waldichuk going for? According to Prop Beaver, he told me a little while ago that he's only like a spot. He's only going inning or 2. Who knows with these. I mean, I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. I think the MLB with these starting pitchers is now getting worse than the NBA with the injury reports. They just play around with that shit. I don't like it. But anyway, let's move on to the next game.
We know how criminal the NBA
is.
That's criminal. This you can start to see patterns with certain pitchers, I would assume.
I mean, obviously, me and Prop Beaver make graphics every night for the next day. And literally every night, there are question marks in at least 2 or 3 games at starting pitcher. So, look, I get the NBA, and I'll be the first to complain alongside with you, but I think the MLB deserves the same criticism right now. And I know Toast will go to bat for baseball. Try.
I'm trying to stay quiet right now.
Try suggesting robot umpires to Toast. He'll start throwing his phone. All right. So Phillies at Rays. I don't just Rays money line. I don't know. I've been saying that Taijuan Walker is due. I think it's at -130. I've been saying Taijuan Walker's due for a bad start. So I'm gonna play Tampa, but I'm not even gonna talk about it because it's put Tampa a pass for me.
So I said kind of razor pass.
Wait. You had the Phillies last night, didn't you?
Yeah, I once I kept on looking at it, I just thought that something with Nola. I just thought we were going to see a good performance there, and I ended up taking the Phillies. I shared it with the chat. I'm taking the Phillies in the first 5 here today. Look, they're 7-3 their last 10. They're playing really good baseball right now, and I agree. Like, I don't expect Taijuan Walker to continue going out there and throwing 6, 7, 8 innings, 1-run ball, but he continues to do it. And I mean. The Dodgers, Detroit, the Mets, Chicago, Detroit, Oakland. It's not like the who's who of teams that can hit the ball. Obviously the Rays are that team, but at the same time, it's a pretty big pitching advantage with Lytle, however you say his name. I'm not even sure. On the fact that I also I'm not trying to take shots at the Rays, but I also don't think they're going to play at the level they've been playing at home all year long. At some point, it's going to come down to earth. Maybe it's right now. They've lost 3 in a row. Maybe they have a little low before the All-Star break. I'm not sure, but in the first 5, I'm more than willing to take the Phillies, and I got them at plus money, so I'll take it.
Yes, sir. I like that Toast. First 5 Phillies, and I'm going Phillies full game as well. I think Phillies get this done, man. Taijuan Walker, we got to give him credit where credit is due. He's been dealing. Chicago, the Mets, Oakland, Dodgers, Detroit, but you can only pitch against who's in front of you. And speaking of the Rays, the Rays, they have been the best team in baseball thus far this season, but in that same breath, they've been struggling here of recent. And I think if there's a time to attack them, it is now. I understand why the line is where it's at. The Rays have been very profitable at home, but I also understand that Zach Little is not a guy that's going to go deep in this game. He's probably going to go 1-2 innings like he always does, and then it's going to be a bullpen game for the Rays. They invented that, but the Phillies are actually playing decently right now. They scared me at the beginning of the season. I thought maybe, last year was a little fluke. They're starting to turn it around, and I kind of like what Walker's done. I think we see him go deep again, and I like the plus money opportunity here with Philadelphia. So I'm gonna take him on the money line on this.
I like what they both said about the Rays at home, and maybe they are still being priced based on what they did earlier in the season. There's probably truth to that. And I went out on a limb and faded Taijuan Walker in his last start in Wrigley Field. I was like, this guy's due for some regression, and he pitched a great game. My argument, though, in that one was I watched it, and there was a lot of hard hit balls that fortunately went right into gloves. But I'm taking another shot fading Taijuan Walker. But I would be down to go to battle with these two guys if this was one I felt strongly about. This isn't. I don't feel strongly enough to argue with them because I don't love it. So let's move on to the next one. All right. Next up is Cardinals at Marlins. They switched the pitcher up. It's Liberator now. I feel like my hands are tied here. I have to bet the Marlins. Another one that I don't love. There are some games I like coming up later.
Did you notice the last time that they saw a left-handed pitcher? Did you?
Yeah, it was June 18th or something.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while. Still though, Liberator on the road.
They still have good numbers.
Liberator on the road is a fade for me until he shows me otherwise. So you're on the fish too, right?
I was on the first 5 over 5.5. I kind of lean the fish, but I don't know those Cardinals bats. I don't know. They're kind of scaring me right now. Yeah, this one was really hard. This was really hard for me. It was over 5.5 for me at plus 100.
Yeah, the first few games of the slate I don't like. My main bets are in like the meat of it. Jay, you have anything you like here?
Yeah, give me the money Marlins on the money line.
Yeah, I can't argue it. Yeah.
Liberator on the road. I'm not liking him. I'm not liking the bats for St. Louis. And I've been backing, as you see, I call them the money Marlins. I've been backing them this year. And I'm not going to sell my stock just because they got beat on by the Braves. The Braves are the best team in baseball right now. Better than the Rays, better than the Rangers, better than anybody you want to say. That's how well the Braves are playing right now. So I'm not selling my stock too much on what just happened there. Before that, Miami was playing extremely good baseball. We've seen them bounce back, and I think we see them continue to bounce back. So I think they beat up on the Cardinals again today. I'm going to take them.
And then really quickly, I know I said the Marlins haven't seen left-handed pitching starting in a while, and that's true. But over on the year, like Soler, Wendell, Davis, Fortes, Arise, Sanchez, Cooper, Birdie, Stallings, all have a WRC plus over 100, which is league average. So, and multiple guys have WRC.
That's against
pluses.
lefties. That's against lefties.
Yeah. Over 185 or 180. So Fortes, Davis, Wendell, Soler, Arise is at 136. So, yeah. Miami should have no problem scoring.
So the issue is they just haven't seen a lot of lefty starters, but the lefty bullpen arms they've seen.
Which we know that Miami does all their work late against the bullpen.
They are
the best teams scoring late in ballgames.
The Marlins are bullpen assassins. I would like to see like the numbers if you live bet the Marlins every time they're down in the sixth. You must be up a fortune. They murder bullpens. All right, let's move on to the next one. Finally, we get to a bet I like. I'm on the Yanks here. I gave this out on YouTube last night. Haven't changed. Line has moved significantly. I think when I gave it out last night, I got the Yanks at like plus 110. Saw it at minus 105 now. Still like it. All right. So for this one, so Dean. Oh, wait. I think we froze up. Here we go. We're back. So Dean Kramer's on the mound. Here are his last 10 starts. Now, tell me the second half of this chart isn't terrifying looking. I mean, look at all those FIP numbers above. I don't know if you can see my mouth. You guys can't. But look at all those FIP numbers at 7 or above. At the Giants, Toronto, Cubs, Seattle. 4 of his last 5 starts have been really scary looking. I don't care what the earned runs numbers look like. He's gotten lucky in a couple of them. To take it a step further, freezing up again on me. Oh, here we go. Dean Kramer versus the Yankees. So here are his lifetime numbers against the Yankees. As you can see, nothing impressive here. 5.61 ERA, 5.03 FIP. But check this out. Watch what happens when I switch it from his numbers against the Yankees to his numbers in his specifically last 5 starts against the Yankees. It jumps up to a 7.54 ERA and a 6.36 FIP. So this guy started off his career with 2 great starts against the Yankees a couple of years back or whenever it was. His last 5 starts have all been nightmares. And by the way, Yankees, I know the bats have been cold as a whole since Aaron Judge went out, but check this out. Look at this graphic here. Here are the Yankees bats against right-handed pitching. On the left is the last 30 days. On the right is the last 7 days. Now, of course, on the left, looking terrible. 29th in OPS, 29th in WRC+. But look at the last 7 days. 16th in OPS, 10th in WRC+. Don't look now, but the bats in the Bronx are showing some signs of life. So I expect the Yankees to get the creamer. And then on the other side, Baltimore bats against righties. What is happening with this lineup? I like Baltimore. I cast some bets on them. I lost some bets on them. In the last 30 days against righties, you can see they've been performing pretty well, but look at the last 7 for them. It's almost the exact opposite of the Yankees. 29th in OPS, 29th in WRC+. And then you add on the fact that, obviously, this doesn't even need to be said, but the bullpens, Yankees, huge edge. So I think the Yankees have the edge in the first 5. I know Randy Vasquez is nothing to write home about, but I think the bats are performing better than Baltimore, the bullpen's better, and they're at home. Give me the Yanks to complete the sweep.
Yeah, I'm on the Yanks team total. I want to see where it's at now because I'm sure it's moved a little bit. Kramer's one of those guys that he's like bottom 10 percentile in expected WOBA, slugging, batting average. I mean, he's one of those guys. Yankees team total over 4.5 at plus 100. He's one of those guys that I think that he's skated by earlier in the year. And I think that now that teams are having to get to see him and more, it's obviously getting a little bit rough patch. And then that Yankees offense that Kyle touched on, direct correlation. As soon as that perfect game happened, they scored 10 runs. And then they've been off to the races since that perfect game. 10 runs, 4, 6, 1, 6, and 8. That Yankee offense is definitely humming right now. So I don't think that Baltimore is as bad as what they've shown the last 7 days. That's why I didn't play the Yankees on the money line. There's no way I wouldn't play Baltimore, especially at that number. But I do think the Yankees bats get going, so I'll take the team total at plus money.
And that guy Ray Harris in the comments is right. I said Yankees complete the sweep. They actually play again tomorrow. My bad on that. So the Yankees win the 3rd in a row is what I should have said. Jay, are you on the Yanks?
This one's tough for me. I really want to pass on this one. I lean Yanks, but the O's, they're just one of those teams, man. They are in a slump that we haven't really seen them be in all year. And Kramer did get cranked against the Minnesota Twins in his last one. It was not a pretty outing from him there.
I bet the Orioles in that game too.
I don't think I had anything in that one. But the Yanks bats, they've kind of been doing okay as of recently. When Judge went out, they were mightily struggling. They've kind of turned it around a little bit. I want to lean Yanks, but it's hard. It's really hard for me to fade the O's, one of the most profitable teams on a daily.
Yep, I hear you.
One other thing that I didn't touch on is the reason that I couldn't get to the Yankees is Tommy Cahill has been one of their better relievers. He's probably not going to be able working back-to-back days and 20-plus pitches.
I've been calling him Conley. His name's Kane. What is it?
Yeah, Cahill.
I've been calling
Tommy Cahill.
I've been pronouncing that wrong.
Marinaccio went 30 pitches yesterday. Abreu went 15. They saw Wandy. It was only 9. So they do have Holmes and King in the back end. But
so they have Wandy, Holmes, and King, though. They have Wandy, Holmes, and King.
Yeah.
So if they get to the 7th, they're good.
But I'm just saying that if the kid doesn't get through 5 or 6, there might be a little bit of issues in the middle of the game. That's all I'm trying to say.
I can see. Now that there's truth to that. I can see that. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so this one is Reds at Washington, and
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna limp my ass over and take the Reds money line.
Thank God! Woo!
I seriously. All right, so I know everyone's happy. I know everyone in the comments. You know what? I want to do a poll on this one. I want to see if people on the Reds are this many psychopaths out here that are gonna bet the Reds as road favorites with Graham Ashcraft on the mound. So I want to see what the poll is on that one. So I do like how at least the odds makers for once are starting to price the Reds properly. I'll say that. Like I know that looking on the road as a road favorite with Graham Ashcraft just seems crazy, but the way these two teams are playing, specifically the Reds, it makes sense. So I like that. I don't have any graphics made for this one because last night, if you remember, I skipped it. I want to see what the line did. It did the same thing the line's been doing in Reds games for the last month. It made you think Washington's the play. And I'm not biting on that shit this time. I took Washington first 5 yesterday in the day game. Obviously lost. I'll ride this red hot team. I don't have a ton of faith in Josiah Gray, especially at home. I like backing him on the road better. So I'll take him. It's not a huge play, but I am going to bet it.
It's the Reds. That's all I should really need to say, but I'll say that his last 2 starts, Josiah Gray at home against St. Louis and Philadelphia, both got hit up pretty hard. And then Graham Ashcraft, I understand he's been pretty bad, but a lot of good things to see are that we saw his last start against the Padres, got a lot of ground balls, and that's when he's working and pitching well, that he's going to get a lot of ground balls. The Reds got everybody good to go in their bullpen as well. So for me, I'm just going to continue to ride in this big red machine.
Jay?
For me in this one, let me get an over. I think we get some runs here from both sides. Josiah Gray, I'm a little worried about him, like both guys were alluding to at home. Yes, both of his last 2 games were okay. He did give up some hits. I think Cincinnati hits the ball pretty well today. And Ashcraft, man, he's due. He's like an every other game type guy. He gets cranked. So I could definitely see the Nationals competing in this one. And we get I think it's probably going to be a fun game, probably like a 6-6 type ball game. Some runs scored. So give me over 9.5 in this one. That's the way I'm going to lean. I think the bullpens probably contribute to some of that as well. I'm not in love with the bullpens. Give me, over.
Hold on, just making sure the book's done messed up. Give me Jake Fraley over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -130. Thank you.
Yeah, that shit cashes all the time. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong going with the over at a Reds game recently. That shit's been wild. The poll, we got 64% on the Reds, 22% on the Nats. So there are some people out there in the comments riding Washington here. Let's move on to the next game, which is Braves at Cleveland. This is a Braves or pass for me. I do have some graphics and stuff. One sec. I'm going to say Atlanta -1.5 or pass. That's what I'll say. I have a feeling Braves money line is going to make its way into the community parlay, just knowing how the community usually votes. So for starters, Michael Soroka. This is why it's a or pass for me. It's his name is Michael Soroka, and here are his numbers from his last 2 road starts. He's got an 8.38 ERA, 186 WHIP, an 8.78 FIP. Dude has really struggled in his last 2 starts on the road. And hitting and pitching in Cleveland is no easy task, because I think I have Cleveland's numbers at home right here. There it is. So Cleveland's bats they've been one of the best home lineups in baseball over the last month. See, 4th in OPS, 4th in WRC plus. They're also hitting right-handed pitching as well. I can't really get behind Soroka pitching a good game in Cleveland here. But the reason I'm still gonna maybe back the Braves, the reason I'm still considering backing the Braves is this next graphic right here. Cal Quantrill is desperately searching for it and is not finding it. Here are his last 3 starts. Now, granted, to be fair, this graphic is the last 3 starts. There's a 30-day gap in here. His last start was his first back from an injury where he missed a month. So these 3 starts is actually over the span of like 5 weeks, to be a little fair, but still, good Lord, a 15.43 ERA. He's entering Chase Anderson territory. A 4.32 FIP indicates he's had some bad luck, but still, we're talking about 3 nightmare starts in a row for this dude, and now he has to pitch against the Braves? Like, are you crazy? I probably don't even need to pull this next graphic up, but in case you didn't know, the Braves are first in every single offensive category against right-handed pitching recently. I mean, as Jay said earlier, I don't think many people would argue that this is the best team in baseball right now. So yeah, everything points to them getting to Cal Quantrill. I expect Cal Quantrill to turn his shit around. We've seen him pitch well. Me and Toast, I think it was the year before last, we had a string of cashing bets on Cal. Or maybe it was last year. I can't remember. So we know he's capable of pitching well. I just don't know. In the spot against the Braves. So I'll say Atlanta -1.5 or pass. I also have lost a lot of faith in the Cleveland bullpen recently as well. So they need to bounce back too. So Atlanta -1.5 or pass for me.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Cleveland on the money line at what is it? +140 just for a half a unit. And then I'm playing Cleveland team total over 4 at -120 for essentially a full unit.
I could get on that. I could get on board with the team total.
So just in case they do lose, they score some runs. But okay, first and foremost, I don't think Cal is as bad as what we've seen his last 3 starts. He's been. I understand how bad he has looked. I don't think he is that bad. And I also understand that the Braves can come out here and absolutely smash him. I'm not trying to make a case for that. But if he does pitch good, or somewhat let's just say he can keep them in the game, who are the Braves going to pitch after Soroka? Let's go through this. Noah Iglesias, he's pitched the last 3 days. Nick Anderson's pitched 3 of the last 4 days. Hard to think he's going to pitch. Excuse me. AJ Minter had the day off yesterday, pitched in 2 days before that. Jimenez pitched 24 pitches yesterday. McHugh 18, Yates 23. So just absolutely taxed beyond belief for that Atlanta Braves bullpen for a Cleveland team that's been scoring runs at home. So I know the world's going to bet the Braves. I understand that, but I think the value here is all on Cleveland. I understand I'm a Braves hater, but push that aside because that's not because I'm not making that bet because of this. I promise you that. So, but that's how I'm playing it.
I'm actually going to bring that up because that is significant. Hold on one sec. I think it's graphic 5. Here we go. This is what Toast is referring to right here. So here's the Braves' current bullpen situation. You can see 3 days in a row. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but yeah, that's serious. That being said, the Braves might score 100. So there's a lot of truth. There's normally post fade Braves shit comes off as kind of crazy, but he might have a point here. Jay, you got a bet for this one?
If I'm with you, I'm Atlanta 1.5 or pass. I'm gonna chase I don't want to lay the 165. I don't want to throw my odds off like that, but I do think the Braves get this one done. We saw them drop yesterday. They didn't go down without a fight, 6-5 in extras. But like I said earlier, man, this is the best team in baseball right now. And I haven't gone to the window to place this bet yet, but I know that I don't want to fade Atlanta. So
yeah,
I'm leaning going to lay the 1.5, but it hasn't made my card quite yet.
Yeah,
I also want to
same
say
exact boat.
Really I also just want to say, just in general, I understand the Braves are playing at an all-time high, but in general, when I'm betting baseball, I do like to fade a team that's had a 9, 10, 12-game winning streak.
For sure.
And they lose. I still like to fade them again the next day, letting that air out of the balloon. It's hard to put it back in. That's just a general thought. It doesn't apply just to this game.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so let's move on to the next. And the poll was, I ran a poll on this one, 72% Braves, 17% Cleveland. So comments definitely are on Atlanta, as expected. Let's move on to the next game, and we got Texas at Boston. Oh, that's right. Jay's team is Texas. All right, so I have 2 bets on this one, and I actually think I'm going to bet them both here. So I'm going to take Texas money line. And last night, it was... yeah, you have a weird thing for Boston. And I also like the first 5 under 5. In case you're not confident on a side, I do like the first 5 under here. I like both spots for the starting pitchers. Let's pull up some graphics. So here's John Gray, home away splits. 2 of his last 3 starts were rocky, but they were both at home in Texas. He's got much better numbers on the road this year. In his road starts, he's got a 1.99 ERA, 3.91 FIP. It's been solid on the road. And now you would think that going into Fenway is a tough spot to pitch, but, I mean, look at the Boston recent numbers against right-handed pitching here. 22nd in OPS, 26th in WRC+. Toast swears this lineup is good. I don't know what numbers he's looking at. Let's go on to Boston.
I'll address all this BS.
I know. You're probably marking it down like things I need to rebuttal.
Literally right here, dog.
So on top of Red Sox poor numbers against righties, look at their numbers at home. They're not hitting in Fenway either. 16th at OPS, 21st at WRC+. Let's keep on moving. But here, okay, so here is the reason I'm not making the Texas Rangers the bet of the day. His name's Brian Bayo. At least I call him Bayo. I don't know if it's Bello or Bayo. Jay, do you know if it's Bello or Bayo?
I say Bayo.
All right.
It's Bayo.
All right, nice. So I got it right. Bayo is a machine. Here's his numbers from his last 11 starts. So this sample size dates back to April. A 2.33 ERA. Opponents batting just 211 off him. 108 whip, 345 FIP. This kid's a monster. I backed Boston, and I think that was his last start against Miami. He took a no-hitter into like the 7th or 8th. Like, he was dominant. And of course, Boston still lost that game.
I know.
And I got washed that night, too. That was just icing on the cake there. But anyway, I like Bayo. That's why I like the first 5 under at 5. But as far as winning the game, got to go with the Rangers. I think they're the much better team. I don't trust the Red Sox bats at all.
Okay, so first of all, I don't have an obsession with the Red Sox. I do have an obsession with Brian Bayo. The Red Sox thing in Toronto is, again, Toronto beat them 17 times last year. It's 6-0 Boston. I can't guarantee it, but I'm going to continue to bet Boston against Toronto the rest of the year. Anyway, I'm also the president of the Brian Bayo fan club. This guy.
Oh, you're the president? You're the president of that fan club?
I did. If you didn't know, I'll let you know in. I can let you in later. I've been singing this guy's praises since the beginning of the year, and he's been continuing to pitch well. I just don't think John Gray's really been the same since he's had that blister injury. 2 of the last 3 times he got hit hard. His one good start was at the Yankees on the road, but they were playing like dog crap at that time. So I understand that Boston hasn't really been hitting well, but on the year at home, as a whole, they do have, some decent numbers. It's like a 117 WRC plus at home on the year. But Duran, Verdugo, Duvall, Yoshida, all those guys have 150 pluses. So I understand the Rangers offense is scary, but Boston has a rested bullpen as well. So I'm on the Boston money line.
What's that? What are the odds on that? It was minus 120 plus 100 last night.
I think I got it at plus 100, but I don't know what it's at.
Minus 105 is the consensus. I'll rock with that. All right, so my Texas money line is hold on, let me switch mine. My Texas money line is no longer plus 100. It's minus 115 now. Clearly, the odds makers know what they're doing, moving it towards Texas. Jay, I don't even know your betting style. Do you always back your teams? I don't even know how you do that. Do you back the Rangers?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Not always. I do find my spots. Like Heaney is one of them guys who usually gets faded. But I look at this is what I say about my teams. I look at them every day because I feel like those are teams I'm most comfortable with. And If I feel like they're gonna win, I feel like they're gonna win. If I feel like they're gonna lose, I feel like they're gonna lose. But I just feel more comfortable with those teams. I've been following those. Those are teams that are right here. So that's how it usually goes. And fortunately, my teams this last few years have been pretty good. So now on the Rangers in this game today, I did take them today against the Red Sox. Bayo, let's start there, man. I've been backing Bayo. Bayo's been he's been one of my guys. He kind of let me down against Miami in the last one. It was a low-scoring game, though. Can't really be mad. He went 7 innings, only gave up a run. So other than that, man, he's been dealing against Chicago, the Yanks twice. I just worry about him because Texas, the last 2 games, we've seen their offense come back alive. Huge scoring game against the Astros. I was so mad I wasn't in attendance for that game. Down early. Saw him come back in that one, still dropped it in the end. Was frustrating to see that after you fight all the way back, take the lead 11-10, then you drop 12-11. But then we saw them yesterday, even coming in, getting to the starter yesterday. I think the offense continues to roll. The Texas offense has been one of the best offenses in baseball all season. And for what it's worth, the starting pitchers for the Texas Rangers, they've been doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And John Gray, yes, his last start against the Astros wasn't the best, but overall this season, he's had a great year. And I think it's fair to say that we see him where he's had success on the road, have success again. I like what Kyle said. I think the Rangers have shown us over the course of the season that they are the better team. Red Sox are struggling. They did beat up on Toronto. They got their number this year. I was on Toronto all 3 games thinking they would finally bounce back and take one. It did not happen, but other than that, I'm the Red Sox. They're too inconsistent for me in this spot. I'm taking my team, the Rangers.
I took a loss on Toronto in that series. In the one though, I switched, and instead of going Toronto money line, I went Toronto team total over, and that Chapman home run gave it. That was awesome. But yeah, I was on the wrong side of that series as well. While Toast was sitting there cashing his stupid ass Boston bets. 30 water. Like who the hell knows that even means?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So, Toast, I have a question real quick before we move on. Because I listened to what you said, and what you said makes sense. If you don't have faith in John Gray, I get it. Why wouldn't you play Boston first 5, though? Because the Red Sox bullpen, you can't trust it. There's no way you could look me in the face and say, I trust this bullpen.
I probably will. I can't remember what I looked at last night, but I don't really want – I'd rather have 9 full at-bats with Boston at home than have to worry about them struggling to score early and then being pissed off and lose.
Oh, so they can go 3 and out 9 straight times?
I mean, we'll see.
All right, let's move on to the next game.
When I'm posting dirty water in that chat, you're going to be pissed off.
All right. Royals at Twins. No, I don't want you guys to tail me on this unless you're feeling crazy. I'm going to take a very small shot on the Royals money line at plus 230 and plus 235 actually is where it was at.
Kyle's the president of the I Hate Pablo Lopez fan club.
I don't hate him. I just don't think he's valuable to bet on. No, I'm really not a fan of Pablo Lopez dating back to his days with the Marlins, but I'm not saying that the Royals are going to win this. I just think at plus 235, there's some value here. Let's start pulling up some graphics for this one. First of all, we know Alec Marsh got rocked in his debut. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 walks, 5 runs. He got absolutely rocked. But he made his MLB debut against the Dodgers, and they're back. Like, how many righty starters against the Dodgers when they're top 3 against righties? How many righty rookies are going to have a good debut against the Dodgers? Let's cut them a little bit of slack. A little bit. This is the Twins, and in case you aren't familiar with the Twins' numbers against righties, they're not scaring anybody. Yeah, they score 8 runs once or twice a week, but look what happens in the other games. This is not a lineup you could trust day in and day out. 25th in OBP, 22nd in WOBA. This is in the last 30 days against righties. This next one's from Prop Beaver. He likes this pitch mix. So this is him against Marsh's pitch mix. They have very bad numbers against righties with this exact pitch mix from that Alec Marsh has. Let's move on to this is the killer, though. Toast is going to tell you Pablo Lopez is, reliable. Look at the last 7 home games from Pablo Lopez right here. Boston, and this isn't just Boston scored 5 runs in the game. They scored 5 runs on Pablo Lopez. Boston scored 5 on him. Brewers scored 3. Cleveland scored 6 on them. Toronto scored 4 on them. Padres only 1, but the Padres are a trash organization. Kansas City scored 6. Washington scored 5. Notice number 6 on this list. Kansas City. The Royals came into Minnesota and hung 6 on Pablo Lopez's ass. Here we are again. I'm not saying the Royals are going to come in and score 6 on them again. I'm just saying right now, the Royals coming off 2 big wins, or yesterday was the definitive win. What was that? 10-3 or something? I don't even remember. I didn't bet the game. I think this is a perfect buy low, sell high spot to take a small shot on the Royals. I know no one's going to tell me it's fine. I'm just sharing what I'm doing.
I'm not going to sit up here. I'm not on the Twins. I mean, I don't think that you illustrated it perfectly. I don't think that you can lay this price with Pablo Lopez at home. So his to record a win price is at -105. It's not at plus money. So that maybe gives you a little bit of hope that maybe the Twins should win. But yeah, there's no way in hell I'm laid this price with the Twins, especially with the way their bats have gone. If I had to make one play, it would be either Buxton over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI at -120, or Edward Julian in the same bet at -110. But both those guys seem to hit righties pretty well. And Buxton's super hot. But yeah, it's nothing I really love in this one.
I put pass up for you. Jay, you got something in this?
Man, Kyle, I'm gonna take a shot with you.
Oh man, I didn't know you got down like that. +2.
I'm gonna take a shot with you, man.
These bets, like, they look great on paper, and then sometimes the game starts, you're like, okay, so I just made a donation. But sometimes you look like the biggest genius on the internet. So,
but there's no way in hell anybody should be laying that price with the Twins. So,
Correct.
I mean, it's really not that crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Correct.
So that's exactly, and you know what? Prop Beaver's on board with this too. He actually, Prop Beaver, his bet he liked was Kansas City first 5 + 1.5 at an even -110, which is like +1.5 and first. Toast is shaking his head at you for taking the runs in the first 5. All right, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Cubs at Brewers. You know what? I don't want to go first in this one. Toast, start.
I'll go first. Cubs first 5 on the run line at -115. Look, it's just a steal. I'm going to continue to ride him until he gives me a reason not to. It's really that simple for me. I understand the Brewers have been playing a little bit better. I don't think that their numbers against left-handed pitching are much better. I'm sure they're a little bit better, but they're still a fade for me. It's really that simple for me. It's me betting on Justin Steele over and over again until he gives me a reason not to.
Jay, what do you got?
I like the Nerfy in this game, and
Okay.
I also want to lean under as well. I think I'm with Toast. Steele has been dealing, but I just don't want to trust the Cubs. The bullpen, and I just don't want to trust them full game. I think Hauser is not as bad as some people may portray him to be. I could see a solid outing from him today. He did get hit quite a bit by the Mets, but it was still a low-scoring game. Only gave up 2 runs. I'm going to go under, and I'm going to go Nerfy. I think we get in and out with this one. I think we probably see 3 up, 3 down, or maybe 4 from one of the guys. But overall, I think no runs are scored in the first inning, and overall, this should be a lower-scoring game.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are on the same page. I honestly think that this all could happen. And, dude, the Brewers are turning into the new bullpen killers. Look, I don't think this is actually going to make the ticket. So I'm not going to kick down the door to get you to tell me. I think I am going to put a few dollars on the Brewers. You can see everyone's on the Cubs here. And look at the line. Plus 125 last night at 11 a.m. It's 11 p.m. Still plus 125. So the odds makers are not scared to play against all this Cubs money. Again, we've seen the odds makers get beat recently. So that's not the end-all, be-all. But I think everyone's betting the Cubs, and I don't trust that lineup right now. A week and a half ago, I did. But I don't trust them day in and day out to produce. I also have this weird suspicion that the Brewers are going to start hitting lefties. They've shown a little bit of signs of it, and I don't have graphics for it because the numbers don't really indicate it yet. But I think the Brewers are going to start hitting lefties, and you're going to see it on Friday night when they light Abbott up. I've been talking about this with Toast for a week. Abbott's going to get lit up on Friday night, and Toast is going to come on here and be like, gotta take the Reds, bro. Abbott is going to get rocked. So I'm going to say Milwaukee or pass on this one. I probably will bet this privately, but I don't think I'll give it out. I'll probably just send a screenshot of it in the private chat. Not one of my favorites.
Just really quickly, too, a couple Cubs have decent numbers, like Wisdom's 2 for 4, Bellinger's 2 for 3, Happ and Barnhart and Swanson all have 3 hits against them. Nothing crazy, but that's the only reason that I was worth a first 5 to me. I knew it was public. I didn't really want to deal with that because Kyle's right. The Brewers in these bullpens, they've been getting to them, and it's been crazy.
Yeah, and I think the Cubs bullpen is going to start because a week and a half ago, I had such a different opinion of the Cubs. I feel like they've just 180. They're not hitting righties anymore. Well, they did yesterday. Or was that a righty yesterday? Who the hell pitched for the Brewers yesterday?
They essentially came back from Europe and haven't.
Miley. See, it was Miley, though. It was a lefty. That's why. All right. Anyway, let's move on.
They're like 2-10 their last.
Exactly. Exactly. And before Europe, I was kind of riding the Cubs. Toronto at Chicago. I'm putting a poll up. This is going to be the ultimate one where everyone This is the moment everyone's going to hate me for this one. And you know what? Let me preface this with saying I hate myself a little for it. So let's go.
Well, you know it's gross because me and Kyle had the exact same bet and we didn't talk to each other about it.
Yeah, that's a good sign. So I'm putting it up. Toronto money line, White Sox money line. Obviously, Lance Lynn on the bump. That's going to put a lot of people right onto Toronto blindly. So let's pull up some graphics here. You can see here's Lance Lynn's numbers in his last 9 starts. Certainly not impressive. 5.57 ERA, 141 WHIP, nothing to write home about. Want to know the White Sox record in those 9 games? They're 6-3. They win with this guy. I know it's crazy. They win when this guy pitches. And then it gets even better for Lance. Here are his numbers against the Blue Jays lifetime, against the Blue Jays current lineup. I mean, they're batting just 243 against them, 681 OPS, just a 2.7 home run rate. He's actually pitched pretty well against Toronto. And then on the other side, let's talk about Jose Barrios, who this man, he seems to be falling apart a little bit. Look at it. Okay, so on the right side of this graphic, you'll see his last 3 starts. 6.19 ERA. He's struggling. Look on the left side. Those are his 5 starts before the last 3. Seems like he got his shit together. Not to mention, we know historically, Jose Barrios is a guy that you could fade on the road. Now, earlier in the season, he did show us a little bit of signs of something different, right? Jose Barrios pitched like 4 or 5 great games on the road and then got rocked in Miami. So that is over. Want to know how Jose Barrios has pitched lifetime in Chicago against the White Sox? His last 5 starts, 0-2, 7.50 ERA, 3 home runs per 9. 3. And then the icing on the cake, which is the White Sox numbers against righties recently. This lineup, who was terrible against righties for most of the season, has woken up against righties. In the last 14 days, they're 3rd in WRC+, 5th in OPS, 5th in isolated power. Louis Robert is a monster. Did you see his home run last night? He literally looked at his back because he couldn't believe how far he hit the ball. We got robbed. Vlad robbed us of that win last night. I'm going back to the White Sox, and I know everyone hates it. It's fine. I'll sit on my White Sox island by myself.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm on the White Sox money line. Kyle alluded to pretty much everything that I wanted to say, except for the fact that Toronto bullpen doesn't look that good. Romano's went 2 of the last 3 days. Swanson's went 3 of the last 4 days. So that's their top 2 arms gone with a Chicago offense that's been hitting the ball really well. And I can trust a little bit more at home, especially too. So, the White Sox had Graveman, Lopez, Kelly. They all went last night, but they can all work again tonight because they had the prior 2.
Well, I hope to God Kelly doesn't work again tonight.
I agree. I'm just saying the point has to be proven that he'll be there. He probably, yeah. I mean, I would expect Middleton and Bummer to get some work before him, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I got to take the White Sox. The public's pretty heavy on Toronto, if I remember correctly, as well, which makes it a little bit more sweet.
Jay, are you riding with us here? He's got a Toronto hat on deck.
Nah, man, I gotta roll Blue Jays money line in this one, man. I do. Barrios on the road. Recently, he's been pitching better on the road. I know he had. Let me go back and pull it back up. His last one wasn't the best, but I still trust him in this spot, man. I mean, it's hard for me to. I very rarely look in the direction of the White Sox, and I damn sure don't want him with Lance Lynn on the mound. They just lost 2 or 3 to the worst team in baseball, the Oakland A's. This is who the White Sox are. The Blue Jays, they had the best record in the month of June in the American League. I know it didn't seem like it. It wasn't the best. It was, I think, 16-11. It was a rough month for the entire American League, but I think they're playing some pretty decent baseball right now. I know they got beat on by the Red Sox, but like Toe said, when you whoop up on a team like you did last year, every game you play them the following year is going to be motivation spot. I don't want the White Sox at all here. Barrios on the road, I can trust him. I have seen him show up on the road this year, and I'm going to take the Blue Jays in this spot, man. I'm fading Lance Lynn. I think that the Blue Jays bats get going.
I mean, it's hard to just on semantics alone. It's kind of hard to argue with that. I'm definitely trying a razor sharp angle here with the White Sox. I do like it though. I like it. And the poll is actually pretty split here. So the overall public is on Toronto, but this particular poll, 47% White Sox, 41% Toronto, 10% pass. That's where our viewers are feeling. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Angels at Padres. I'm just going to run through mine really quick here because Toast is probably going to speak. He follows these teams really closely. I notice he always has stuff to say about the Angels and Padres. So I'm going to put Padres team total over 4.5, and I'll run through like 2 or 3 graphics that I got. Why? First one up is here's Patrick Sandoval last 5 starts. I'm a Patrick Sandoval apologist. I like the guy, but at what point do I have to admit that I'm in an abusive relationship here? I mean, he crushed me in this. I bet him against the White Sox. They had like a 5-2 lead, and he gave up like 7 runs in the 3rd inning or some shit. So yeah, I expect the Padres to get the Patrick Sandoval. Not just from his struggles, though. Look at the Padres' recent numbers against left-handed pitching here in the last 30 days. 5th in WRC+, 4th in WOBA, 6th in on-base percentage. You'll be able to find, if you look, because obviously we all know the Padres are unreliable. That's no secret. But if you look at what games they disappeared at and what games they showed up, for the most part, you can see a bit of a pattern. They haven't disappeared as much against lefty starters as they have against righties. Against righty starters, I will pump the brakes of the Padres. But against lefties, I'm a lot more inclined to have some faith in them. So I like them to score runs on Sandoval. And even if they don't, which they will, but even if they don't, look at the Angels bullpen. I know Toast, for some reason, thinks this bullpen's going to be good. I'm not seeing it. In the last 14 days, 23 and 3rd in RBIs, in ERA, 24th in WOBA, 22nd in hard hit rate. So overall, I think the Padres could hit this team total against both Sandoval and then hit it again against the Angels bullpen. As far as backing aside, I would like to take the Padres, but I don't have a ton of faith in Seth Lugo coming off a really good start in Cincinnati. So I think he could get hit up, even though the Angels lineup is beat up. You know what? I'll let Toast talk. That's where I'm at. Padres team total over.
Honestly, I would make the same bet. I didn't make a play for this game yet. I just want to see who the Angels even have in their lineup. I mean, it's so bad right now. I mean, Ohtani, they said he's probably going to play, but he's got a blister. And that's just kind of a weird thing. No Rendon, no Trout. So now you're looking at guys like
all 3 of those guys are out?
Yeah, all of them done. Finito.
Trout, 10-day IL, and then Ohtani
with a
had
broken bone in his hand. Rendon went down last night.
No, I saw Rendon, and I knew I didn't know Ohtani was also out.
Ohtani left yesterday with a blister on his hand. They said he should be fine to play.
Maybe he left because he's a coward. He's a bad ball player.
Yeah, watch him out.
You get cranked yesterday.
And I told you yesterday that the Padres would smoke that game, just so you know. Yeah, it's just a bad lineup. Moustakas, Renfrigo, Wallich, Velasquez. I don't know. I've seen a lot of smart people taking the A's today, and I have no idea why. The Padres are absolutely rolling right now. So there's no reason for me to not.
So would you go Padres minus 1.5 or the Padres team total over?
Team total. I would play the team total as well. Because you're not going to have, because of that situation that happened last night, as far as them trying to give the Padres trying to give the game away. They don't have, I know they don't have Hader.
That bullpen's got to be gassed.
It's gassed, but a lot of them had the day off, but a lot of them worked the 3 days prior.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's not as bad, but it's one of those things like I was talking to you about. How many of those guys warmed up yesterday? So you don't really know that situation I was talking to you about. So it's just really hard for me to trust that Padres bullpen, even though they've been decent on the year. Lately, they've been trash.
Jay, you have a play on this one?
So the Padres, they're too inconsistent for me to want to lay the run line. But I'm gonna be honest, I do have the Padres in a parlay.
Share it.
I do think I'll share the parlay. Or you want to put the parlay now?
Well, I'll type it right on the screen if you want.
I have the Padres in there with the Padres are with the. Let me go pull it up. I think I have 2 teams on there. I have them with the Giants, and I have them
multiple teams in here
with my Rangers. I think I have it in a 3-team parlay.
Okay,
just a little fun.
Just a little something.
Yeah, just a little something. But I do think that the Padres get the dub today. The Angels, they're just as inconsistent. Some could say they were playing a good stretch of baseball, but now they've lost 4 or 5. I don't love that Trout, Ohtani, and Rendon will not play today. And then on the other side, man, the Padres are playing pretty decently right now. We got to give them some credit. The bats kind of have showed up. They've put up 8, 10, 12. So, in 3 of their last 4. I kind of like that team total over with you guys as well. I think that's a solid place to be if you don't want to lay all that juice. So, but when it's all said and done in this game, I do think the Padres win 3 straight against this Angels team and get this one done. So that's why I have them in my parlay.
Cool. Someone said in the comments, a pick dog on the sauce. It's like DC meets Marvel. I'm Tony Stark in that analogy, though. No, I've known Mitch for a while. We always are fighting in text, me and Mitch. He reached out to me when I first started, and Mitch is a good guy. He's been a friend of mine for a while. All right, so let's move on to Mariners at Giants, and this is the hardest pass of all time for me. I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping you guys got something.
Mariners on the money line.
Oh, hold on. Do you know that they switched the pitcher, right? Malone.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Well, last night it wasn't Malone. It was.
I know.
Oh, okay, go on. Do your thing.
So, I look, it's just a pure play on the number for me. You're getting this Mariners team that's absolutely hot right now. Logan Gilbert coming off a performance. He gave that whole bullpen a huge rest day that they really needed. Those bats are extremely hot. If you're going to give me the Mariners at a big plus 150 price with Alex Cobb that was good to start the year, I'm starting to see maybe a little bit of regression, but he has been much better at home. But if you're going to give me those Mariners bats with a rested bullpen and a Giants facing a lefty, I understand they've been a little bit better, but it's just too big of a price for me. I had to take the Mariners. I got them at plus 150.
All right, Jay, you have a bet on this one? I hate this game.
I had the Giants in the parlay.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
The Mariners, they have won 4 straight. They are playing pretty good baseball. Beat up on the Rays and now have won 2 straight against these same Giants. The Giants have cooled off now, lost 4 straight, but I think it's a perfect bounce back spot for the Giants. They got one of their guys, Alex Cobb. I know my guy Toast just said he's been struggling, but he's been winning too.
He's good at home. Cobb's good at home too.
Yeah, so I think he shows up today. I don't really trust Tommy. It looks like Tommy's only had, 1 start this season against the Rockies. It was okay. 4 innings, 3 hits, one earned run. But the Giants, man, we just saw them come off a real long heater in the month of June. I'm not ready to really sell my stock on them. I think I think today should be a bounce back spot for them with Cobb, and that's why I have them in my parlay.
I wanted the Giants, but it was the price that made me like,
Me too. Me too. So that's why I put them with the other one, which was a high price, and the Padres, who I think get a dub, and then I got my team, the Rangers, in there, who I think win this one.
I have a hard time betting on Cobb. Proppy calls him the Cobbster, dead ass serious, like not trying to be funny. He really calls him that.
We knew that.
He's like, yeah, I think this is a good spot for the Cobbster. He'll say something like that.
You came up with Schmitty though, didn't you?
Well, that's a great nickname, Schmitty.
Okay, I was just making sure I was getting to give who credit who.
Yeah, Schmitty's me.
It's not that great, but okay.
It was great the other night.
I know. I was on the Yankees as well.
All right, so Mets at D. I want to run a poll on this one because I thought the public was going to be on the Mets, honestly. Oh, by the way, the poll for the last one is pretty much dead even. You got 45, as far as our viewers go, 44% on the Giants, 40% on the Mariners, 14% pass. I really want to run. I'm very curious to see what the poll. When I made this pick, Arizona last night, I thought everyone was going to be on the Mets. It's not really the case here. You can see on this the pie chart that actually everyone's on Arizona. That doesn't change it for me. I'm still on the D-backs. I was just surprised by it. That's all. So I'm gonna put up. I'll still play the D-backs at the new price. And by the way, that's a big part of it. When everyone's on one side, I want the line to move accordingly so it doesn't freak me out. Everyone's on Arizona, and you know what? They were at plus 102 last night. Now they're at minus 115, which tells me the odds makers are reacting to everyone on the Arizona. That's good. Business as usual. No red flags there. So yeah, I'm on the D-backs here. I know. Ooh, I guess I don't have graphics for this. Oh, here we go. Kodai Senga on the road. So here's Kodai Senga's last 2 road starts, and you can see they're excellent. 146 ERA, 114 WHIP. He's got back-to-back great road starts, which isn't congruent to what he was doing earlier in the year. He was struggling on the road for most of this year. But who are these 2 road starts against? The Pirates, who are dead last in every single category against righties in the last 30 days. I mean, excluding what happened last night, that weird-ass shit. The other one was against the Phillies, and the Phillies are strikeout machines, and Kodai Senga is a pitcher that's heavily reliant on strikeouts. If he plays a team that doesn't strike out, he's going to struggle. Want to know who doesn't strike out? The Arizona Diamondbacks. Here are their numbers against righties. You can see Prop Beaver did this graphic here. First in walk strikeout rate at the bottom here. 5th in isolated power. 3rd in WRC plus in the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. I will say the D-backs bats in the last week or so, not quite as impressive as they have been in the last month. But still, this is the Diamondbacks at home. They've been good all year, and I think they score some runs on Kodai Senga. And then on the other side, who is this guy Tommy Henry? I mean, I know who he is, but like, who does he think he is with these numbers? This last 3 starts, a 196 ERA, 463 expected FIP indicates that, yeah, maybe he's had a bit of good luck. But look at his at home. Look at his numbers at home. So it's not just like his last 3 starts. Here are his last 5 home starts. These are solid. 313 ERA, 123 WHIP, 415 FIP. And then the Mets have not been. I know that they had a little bit, a little streak in there where they were hitting lefties, but as a whole, this has not been a lineup that scares you against lefties on the season. 22nd at WRC plus, 20th in on base percentage. I think Tommy Henry could pitch a good game. And then, did I put the bullpen numbers in here? Let's see. I didn't. I forgot to put the bullpen numbers, but that's a big part of this. Is I think a lot of people might look at Kodai Senga versus Tommy Henry and think, oh, the Mets have the advantage here. But in Arizona, in this particular matchup, I think that's a wash. I think, in fact, Arizona might have the edge. And then when it comes to the bullpen, the Arizona bullpen has gotten red hot. They're 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in WOBA, FIP, and I should have put the graphic in, but expected FIP. Thank you, Prop Beaver. So Arizona is top 3 or 4 in most categories, bullpen-wise, in the last 14 days. The Mets bullpen is actual hot shit. So give me the D-backs because in the second half of this game, I really like their edge. This might be a game where if the Mets go up 2-0 early, might be a prime spot for a live bet.
Yeah, I'm on the exact opposite side of you. I'm on the Mets first 5 and full game. First
it's cool.
5
People lose bets sometimes. It happens.
Yeah, I know. I've been pretty well lately, though. Mets first 5 at minus 115 on the money line, and then Mets plus 100. I think the Mets offense is starting to kick into gear against lefties as a team the last 30 days, a 143 WRC plus. Understand that the bullpen for the Mets hasn't really been fantastic, and 4 guys went yesterday, but I do really think that Senga should pitch pretty well against this really young Diamondbacks team that I agree. I've been cashing a lot of tickets with these guys, but I do think that his stuff should play pretty well down there. But we're going to find out, I guess. But yeah, with the public all over the Snakes as well, it just made me like the Mets even more. So I'll definitely take my chances with the Mets that have seemed to find themselves winning some ball games over the last week, winning 3 in a row so far. And that the loss before that was that choke job they had against the Giants. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they can stack a couple wins together into the break.
Snakes are going to make you pay for that one.
I hope so.
For me, in this one, man, I think what we can say about this season, the most disappointing team has been the New York Mets. And I think they're going to disappoint again today. I'm taking the D-backs on the money line. Tommy Henry, he's solid. And bullpen wise, I expect I'm with I kind of like what Kyle said. I think starting pitching wise is a wash. And I like the bullpen for the Diamondbacks much better than I do for what the Mets got going right now. I expect this to be a bounce back spot for Arizona Diamondbacks team that's shown up at home. And I'm banking on the New York Mets team that we've seen for majority of the year, just inconsistent and disappointing. And I think that's the type of performance we see today. I think the Diamondbacks get to probably Kodai early, and then their bullpen does enough to seal the deal. So give me the Snakes, the Diamondbacks here in this one.
All right, Snakes it is. Poll is definitely heavy on the side of me and Jay, but I guess that's congruent with what the public did. So 58% on the Diamondbacks, 28% on the Mets, 14% pass. A lot of people passing on this game. So last game coming, and that game is, I mean, it's almost like I don't even want to talk about this game really.
It's not, yeah.
I'm just, I mean, I won't
pass.
Yeah, I'm putting Dodgers -1.5 or pass, but it's a pass.
Same.
So I guess I can copy and paste that across. I will read off. Prop Beaver actually did bring up some cool notes for this one. Oh, actually, no, he didn't like this one either.
Yeah, this is likely.
Bobby Miller. And like there's so many question marks here. One, for starters, it's this weird ass Pirates versus Dodgers rivalry that somehow the Pirates own. The hell is that? Doesn't even make any logical sense. Bobby Miller for the first 4 starts this year, 0.78 ERA. He was looking like the next Nolan Ryan. In his last 3 starts, he's absolutely terrible. We've rescinded. Me and Prop Beaver have rescinded his name as Bobby Thriller. He's back to being Bobby Miller again. Pirates, yeah, they scored runs last night, but over the last 30 days, they're dead last in every single category. WRC plus, isolated power, OPS, dead last against righties. So they scored runs last night. All of a sudden, you want to back them? I can't do it. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll take Dodgers -1.5 because they're insanely more talented. I don't even want to talk about this.
Yeah, I would love to come on here and say Dodgers -1.5 and pound my chest like I always have on this channel. I just can't do it. If I had to make a bet, it would be Bobby Miller to record a win at -105. I think that for them to win, he's going to have to pitch well, pitch a little bit deeper into this game. And if he does that, I do trust the Dodgers bats. The bats aren't what let them down last night. It was everything else that let them down. So maybe a couple of hitter props I'm going to look at a little bit later. But I mean, I've actually been burned, it seems like, a lot with this Dodgers -1.5, way more than I have years in the past. So I think, like I said, I think Bobby Miller has to pitch a good game. So to record a win at -105, it's not juiced to plus money. So that makes me just a little bit, think it's a little bit more safe. So I'll take that. I'll take my shot.
And Jay, you said Dodgers are pass for you too?
Straight up pass for me.
Oh, straight up pass. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Straight up pass for me. I'm not really a Dodgers lover. I very rarely will bet the Dodgers unless I absolutely love them in a spot, which is rare. And then the Pirates, I don't know, man.
Right? That's what I'm thinking too.
It's just a weird thing. It's just a weird rivalry. Like that is so weird.
Exactly. So I'd just rather just stay away from this one. Watch it as a fan as I'm up late tonight.
Yep. Sounds good.
I think it's a good player prop show, like Zawinski and stuff like that. Like, yeah, stuff like that. Have fun with it.
All right. Before we do the community parlay, real quick, let's do the 6 pick. Or the 6 times. I'm sorry. 6 times pick 'em. Prop Beaver almost hit this yesterday. I don't know if you guys noticed. He gave out 4. He's supposed to only do 3, but he's feeling his oats. Gave out 4. First 3 hit, and he lost on the last one. That would have been a 10 times payout. This one, Prop Beaver sent us in some heat. Dean Kramer, lower than 5 strikeouts. Jose Barrios, lower than 5 strikeouts. Tommy Henry, higher than 4 strikeouts. Prop Beaver really wants this. He really wants it. And this is how it works. So if all 3 hit, pays out 6 times. I'm sure you already know how it is. So what you do is if you're not a member of Underdog, just download it and type in the promo code BET, and they'll match $100. If you deposit $100, they'll give you $100 free to bet with. All right, so let's go community parlay. Now, Jay, this is your debut on the show. If this hits, people will think you're good luck or bad luck. The guy PF Yeah, FTB. He hit his first time on, and everyone was like, "We need this to hit. We need FTB on to hit." So there's a lot of superstitious folks in the comments. So let's get it jumping. Hold on, let me set up my windows. All right, so I think Tigers should be an option on this poll. Let's go Tigers money line, Rays money line, Marlins money line, I guess. And what do you think the public's on? What do you think they want? Yankees or Orioles?
Probably Orioles.
No, I think Yankees. I think people were on the Yankees on that one. All right, so first leg. Toast, you have a hit parlay or anything to share while this is going?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple. Jake Fraley over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -130. Justin Turner of the Red Sox over 1.5 total bases at +105. Nicky Leathersticks, a.k.a. Nick Castellanos, over 1.5 total bases at +100. And then DJ LeMahieu over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -115.
Okay. Looks like Marlins taking the early lead here.
The money Marlins.
Yo, I'm so excited that they're good now.
Yeah, they're starting to get priced like they're good, though.
Good.
Good.
Should.
Give it another 5 seconds here. Because it looks like the Marlins have this comfortably.
I want a couple of these White Sox, too, I think.
Hey, Marlins take this. So, first leg. Toast, you have a sportsbook open?
Yep.
All right, first leg is Marlins money line. Let's see what we got. Our options for the second leg. Let's go with Reds money line. I know Reds is a fan favorite on the community parlay. Braves money line. Let's go Rangers money line and Twins money line.
It's an interesting little.
The Reds always make the community parlay. Actually, Reds and Braves have probably been in every single one.
Right. The Braves are in there, so I'm interested to see who wins this.
Yeah. And Braves jump out to an early lead.
Marlins won the first one, right?
Yes. Okay. Marlins money line, and it's looking like Braves is going to take. Yeah, it's looking like. I'll give it another few seconds. It's looking Braves though.
Money, Marlins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Braves it is. So Marlins money line, Braves money line. Let's see what else we got down here. So let's do. It looked like everyone wanted the Cubs, so I'm going to put a Cubs on here. I like the Brewers, but it seems like everyone else likes the Cubs. So Cubs. I think people like the Blue Jays in that one. Let's skip it. Go Padres money line. Giants money line against Tommy Malone that Toast likes for some reason. And we'll go Dodgers money line. All right, third leg. Someone said no Twins.
It's not that I like in love with Tommy Malone. I'm getting a red hot team at a huge plus price, like with a full rested bullpen at boot.
Yeah, but they're the Mariners and they're frauds.
Yeah, but their frauds happen to go on runs too.
Frauds have feelings too.
A dead clock's right twice a day, bro.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's like one of my favorites.
Is it?
It really is.
This one is Padres by a landslide. I'll give it another couple seconds, but it doesn't even look like it's worth it. And poll, Padres it is. So it's Marlins money line, Braves money line, Padres money line, and then let's do the second place finishers. So which is Cubs, Reds money line the second, and Tigers were the 3 second place. You know what? I'm going to throw Blue Jays in there because we skipped that game, but I think people like the Blue Jays there. So I'll put Blue Jays on there as an option for you guys. Final leg of the community parlay.
This last one is interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so it looks like the Reds are going to take it by a landslide.
The Reds.
I mean, over 50%, I think.
If it's the Reds, it's 750.
Yeah, it's the Reds. All right, Reds by a mile. So Reds money line plus 750. So the community parlay is Marlins money line, Braves money line, Padres money line, Reds money line, plus 750. Community parlay's been cold. It was red hot. It hit at 3 out of 5. Hasn't hit in like a week and a half. So let's
He'll
grab
be hot
one.
again. Here he is.
The good luck charm, Reese. Jay should be coming back on here. The problem is it's at the same time. So at 4 p.m., we think we can get Jay on. Also, I'm excited we got to talk some football because I'm the most pessimistic Cowboys fan of all time, and you seem like an optimistic Cowboys fan. So I'm the worst.
I used to be optimistic. Kyle drained me of that. I'm no longer an optimistic.
Kyle with his stupid salary cap talk. All right.
We definitely got to talk some football, man. I think it's going to be a very, very fun season.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Mitch about it, about trying to organize like a joint Thursday stream with Sauce and Pick Dogs where we just mentioned it, so we don't even know. So, but all right, everyone, have a good day. Remember to bet responsibly. Give Jay a follow on Twitter. Thanks for joining us. Everyone, have a great night.